In Turkey lies an archaeological site that fundamentally changes our understanding of the origins of civilization. Around 11,500 years old, older than the pyramids, more monumental than Stonehenge, and built by people who, according to our previous understanding of history, should not have been capable of creating such structures.
Why Göbekli Tepe is considered one of the most fascinating and mysterious places in human history, and which secrets have truly left scientists speechless, is what we're going to explore together now. A warm welcome, everyone. If you always want to be immediately informed about exciting archaeological discoveries, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now. Subscribing costs nothing. You'll never miss another video and you'll be helping me a lot. And for those who have already subscribed, giving the video a thumbs up really helps. 5,000 likes is the magic threshold for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much, everyone.
So let's head to Turkey, or more precisely to Anatolia, where the locals have known about a special hill for centuries. They called it Göbekli Tepe, which simply means pot-bellied hill in Turkish. For thousands of years, everyone thought it was just a hill with sheep on it, just a normal hill. But sometimes the most extraordinary things are hidden behind the most inconspicuous things. In the 1960s, a team of anthropologists took a closer look at the hill and thought,
this is probably some kind of medieval cemetery. For almost 30 years, no one was interested in this hill anymore.
Then, in 1994, German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt read the old reports and became suspicious. So he went there himself, and as soon as he reached the top of the mound, he knew that this was something big. As he later said, it was clear in a minute, in a second. In 1995, Schmidt returned with 5 colleagues and began excavations. Beneath the surface of the mound, in some cases so close that plows had already damaged them, lay huge T-shaped stone pillars. Some of them were over 5 meters high and weighed up to 10 tons, and they were artistically crafted, decorated with reliefs of foxes, lions, scorpions, snakes, and birds. The researchers found stone tools, blades, and hammers, but no signs of settlements, no houses, no garbage pits, no fire pits for cooking. Instead, they discovered tens of thousands of animal bones, but all from wild animals, and only tools from the Stone Age. And now comes the bombshell. Radiocarbon dating showed that these structures are about 11,500 years old. 11,500 years, that's twice as old as Stonehenge, twice as old as the pyramids of Giza. Based on everything we thought we knew about human history, Göbekli Tepe shouldn't even exist.
Until this discovery, archaeologists were quite certain agriculture came first.
Then humans were able to settle down and build cities. Only then did they have time for religion and monumental structures. This sequence made sense. The pyramids, built by an agricultural society, and then Göbekli Tepe came along and completely shattered this beautiful theory, because Göbekli Tepe was built by hunters and gatherers, by people who had no idea about agriculture, who did not yet own domesticated animals, who didn't even have metal tools. Klaus Schmidt was convinced that this was not a village, not a city, it was a sanctuary, a religious center to which nomadic groups from all over the region made pilgrimages to perform rituals. Small groups of hunters and gatherers who normally roamed around and lived from hand to mouth came together and created monumental stone circles, with columns weighing 10 tons, without pack animals, without metal tools. Using only muscle power and skill, they cut and moved these colossal structures from the limestone underground beneath the hill. Schmidt discovered that the site consists of several layers. The oldest dates from around 8,300 to 7,500 BC and consists of large circular structures. The newer layer is about 1,000 years younger, with smaller rectangular structures. And the mysterious thing is that the older structures were apparently deliberately filled in. Someone buried these enormous stone circles under tons of earth. The geometric arrangement is particularly fascinating.
In 2020, researchers analyzed the architecture using computer algorithms and discovered that 3 of the stone circles form an almost perfect triangle with sides 19 meters long. This raises huge questions. Who were these people? Was it several generations one after another, or did different groups come together? Schmidt himself believed that Göbekli Tepe was a pilgrimage center where people from all over the region gathered. The tens of thousands of animal bones that were found may be the remains of ritual sacrifices, evidence of large feasts, or both. But here comes the plot twist. In 2017, when a huge protective roof was to be built over the site, the archaeologists had to dig much deeper than ever before. And there, several meters below the ground, they found something unexpected.
Evidence of houses and permanent settlement, a huge cistern, channels for rainwater, and thousands of grinding tools for processing grain. Archaeologist Lee Clare sums it up this way: Göbekli Tepe is still a unique, special site, but the new findings fit better with what we know about other cities. It was a fully fledged settlement with permanent inhabitants. That has changed our entire understanding of the site. Does that mean the original idea was wrong? No, because the builders of Göbekli Tepe still did not live in an agricultural society. Although people were experimenting with plants, they were still mainly hunters and gatherers. The new interpretation is even more fascinating. Göbekli Tepe may have been a last attempt by a hunter-gatherer society to preserve their way of life, while other groups were already domesticating animals and cultivating plants. Lee Clare says the carvings of foxes, leopards, snakes, and vultures are not just images. They are narratives that are very important for holding groups together and creating a shared identity.
Many of the animals depicted were not actually native to the area. They were special, symbolically important creatures. The message, we are different, we belong together. And Göbekli Tepe was not alone. Turkish archaeologists have now found dozens of similar sites in the region, all with T-shaped pillars from the same period.
One of these is called Karahan Tepe, located only about an hour's drive away and maybe even older. It features 266 T-shaped pillars, circular houses, and ceremonial structures.
What do all these sites have in common? At some point, they were deliberately buried and abandoned. We may never find out why this happened. One theory that I find particularly fascinating in all of this:
in 2017, two researchers claimed that the animal depictions correspond to constellations and that the vulture stone could be a date stamp for a comet impact 13,000 years ago. However, archaeologists on site are a bit skeptical, because just because we see certain constellations today does not mean that people saw the same thing back then. In any case, it shows how fascinating Göbekli Tepe still is. After more than 25 years of excavation, there are more questions than answers. Who were these people? What rituals did they perform? Why did they build these structures only to bury them? But one thing we do know is that these people were more like us than we thought. They had complex societies, religious beliefs, artistic visions, and they created something that would last for millennia. Göbekli Tepe reminds us that even with all our technology, we are only a tiny moment in the history of humanity. The Egyptians, the Romans, the Maya, they were all certain of their greatness and could not imagine that they would be forgotten. Who knows what future archaeologists will think of us when they excavate our remains in 10,000 years?
Of course, I'll keep you updated on all the latest findings about Göbekli Tepe. So make sure to subscribe to the channel now, and don't forget to give a thumbs up so we can hit 5,000 likes. And speaking of buried secrets,
let's take a look at what the Russians discovered in the deepest hole on Earth. They drilled over 12 kilometers into the ground at the Kola borehole. That's deeper than the deepest point of the Mariana Trench. No one expected what the scientists found down there. The original footage can be seen in the video displayed at the top right. And if you prefer something cuddly, you'll find cute plush planets in the shop at the bottom left. Otherwise, I'd say see you in the next video. Take care, folks.